of this leather patch. So you can see this is the piece of leather I got in there. That's how wide it is. That's how long it is. But you can see that my layout, I mean, if you're going to be nitpicky, you could probably, you know, flip-flop the stamps, I mean the leather patches, when you lay them out. Oh, you could have laid it out where, you know, you're getting every little inch out of this leather. I probably could have got maybe, who knows, probably a few more patches out of this. That's a lot of leather being wasted. It's one of those things, you know, I might use this for something. Who knows? I mean, this could be, these little pieces right here, these pieces probably could be something you can have. I'll figure something out with it. This is without masking, because normally, like I said in the last video, you would put masking tape on top of your product to prevent charring. And this is the first time I did a whole batch of leather patches without putting the masking on. Well, this is my first time making a whole batch of patches anyway. This is my first time ever. Not just my first time without the masking, but my first time ever. So I wanted to do it and give it a shot. But you can see how it looks kind of all charred up a little bit. And I said I take baby wipes to it. And I just wash it off. It's just charred like smoke. And I left these things on overnight, so I didn't wash them, or not wash them, but wipe them up as soon as they came out of the oven. The laser, I mean. So I just clean them up, and then I just let them dry. So out of this whole piece of leather, remember I said that this leather has to sit completely flat inside the laser. Well, see how some of it in the middle, like I taped it all down, but some of them in the middle kind of kept up. To help keep the thing flat is that you could actually buy small magnets and stick them places where you know that the laser is not going to be cutting, to keep this thing as flat as possible. And if this is making any sense, I had a viewer on my last video said that he has seen other craftsmen, maybe, I don't know, wet their leather first to keep it so it lays flat in your on your crumb tray in your Glowforge. All right, but so being that it was kind of wavy and not sitting flat, when I took this whole sheet out of the Glowforge, these 8 fell right out, but no problem. They fell right out. The laser cut right through them perfectly. These 13 was still held on by a little piece of leather. I mean, I basically just popped it off. So those things didn't get cut all the way through. Just a little piece of, tiny little piece. There was no problem. I mean, it looks good. I don't have to do anything to them. These 3, the only 3 that like this whole side and this side wasn't cut all the way through, so I had to use a utility knife. You can see kind of where it was still kind of held on. So 3 patches out of 21. It's not bad, I guess. I mean, like I said, I mentioned in my last video, I only needed 16. That's why I think if you're going to create something, if you're going to do like small little items and you're going to do I would do is more than what you need, just in case the laser doesn't, well, you didn't lay out your project well enough, like I didn't. I'm just, I jump in with both feet. No thinking involved, just trial and error. It's the only way I can learn is just by doing. So I'm not afraid to use the machine, so I'm just going to put things in there and just, why not mask it? Let's give it a shot. Let's do a 3-hour project without masking it. But if I took more time in the Glowforge, laying these things out and understanding how engraving, cutting, scoring, once I understand how that works, I bet you I can probably get the time cut in almost half. So I'm still learning this machine, so the more, you know, the more you work with it, the more you're gonna learn, and you just get better, I guess. The whole point of it is that should it take 3.5 hours to make these little stamps? Well, probably not if you spend time laying out your machine. Next thing I do is I put my stitch groove all the way around this, so I have a guide to run my thread, the guide for my, when I'm using my sewing machine. I'm almost wondering if I should add, you can score, there's a score button inside the Glowforge interface computer program, whatever. If I put an 1/8 inch stitch line, just do it right in the printer. So I mean, it's going to add another step for the laser to do, but it's just scoring, so I think it's just going to be a fine little small line. Let me just show you. So now, like I was just explaining, I normally take my dividers and do a 1/4 inch stitch line, but I'm wondering if I can do that, just put a score line on my design so I don't have to go through this step, because this is, I mean, it is putting a stitch groove where the leather can, I mean, for the stitches can lay in the groove, but that's not much of a groove. It's not really a stitch groover or whatever. It's a, just messed up. It's okay. It's okay. No panicking. No panicking. Just a stamp. I mean, it's just a patch. Not the end of the world. But see, like, just that process of doing that, it's going to take some time, especially if you're doing a lot of, you know, a lot of patches, or yeah, patches. So the next step I would do is to give myself a better opportunity to make sure my stitches all end up, you know, in each corner, is I actually go into each corner and I punch a hole. I'll explain to you why I do this. So I pop little holes in there in each corner. I don't know if you can see that because I can barely see it. So when you're running your sewing machine, I stick my needle right in that hole so I know for sure I'm right in that corner. And then I'll come along and get my needle, position it right back into that next hole, and then same all the way to the next hole, make sure my needle drops right in that hole. and do it all the way around. So my thoughts were, is why couldn't I do this on the Glowforge? You think I can? Is get that score line on there, and then I don't know if I can cut out a little tiny hole, because once you set that up in Illustrator, that's going to be so dead accurate. There's no error like I did with this thing earlier. When I'm running along, I kind of went off a little bit. If I can do it all within the computer and then just have the Glowforge do it all for me, then basically I just take a double sticky tape and I'll stick it on the back and pop it on the hat, and then I'll sew it up. So if any of you are familiar with a Glowforge out there, if anybody has any experience with the Glowforge on how I can get to make that happen, I think I'll be able to figure out the score line, but the holes, I don't know if the Glowforge can cut such tiny holes. I don't know if it knows just to laser through, like it was cutting an edge, or like it's cutting an edge or something. I don't know if you have to actually do a round circle and then. But it'd be really cool to have this thing all done just for fun. I mean, really. I mean, not that I'm making a whole bunch of them, but it'd be kind of fun to have the computer and the laser do it all. I don't know. Or I can just use my tools. I am a leather craftsman. Trying to modernize it. That's what I'm doing too, I guess. But so yeah. Alright, so what did we learn today? One, let's not watch this channel. Just kidding. No, what did we learn today? We learned how important it is to make sure your project is flat. Let's learn how to do our layouts better so we don't waste so much leather. And to learn the Glowforge a little better so it's you're using it at its full potential when it's scoring and cutting your projects, where it's if you learn how to lay it out on the computer or the Glowforge app or whatever, if you learn how to do that better, it'll probably speed up the process. Not that I'm in such a big hurry. I just think the cut down on the machine wear, I mean, the thing ran for 3.5 hours to cut 21 stamps. If you can cut that down to half, or maybe even 3/4 of the time, it's less time that your machine's running, less maintenance, less wear and tear. So I'm just thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. So that's what we learned today. And then learning the machine a little better, because I know there's a bunch of different settings in there that you can do to process thing up, but we don't need to be wasting this type of leather. I don't know. I guess that's all I got for you guys today. Another day down here. I gotta get some wallets done today. Hit the thumbs up. You can hit the thumbs up if you want. Subscribe. That would be great. And that's all I got for you guys today. Oh, and if you want a Glowforge, there's a link below. Click the link, save $500. Up to $500, sorry, depending on what model you get. Alright, that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for watching.